What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to Ask Donovan. Let's go to our first voicemail from Ryan in Phoenix, who has a question about calling out a woman on her BS. Let's take a listen.
Donovan, hey, bro. This is Ryan from Phoenix. Hey, I had a quick question. When a woman throws bullshit at me, should I call her on her or just ignore her? For instance, yesterday I was with a woman and she said, are you ready to be nice? And I just ignored her instead of like calling her on her by saying, the world's biggest turnoff to a woman is a man who's too nice. And so I've been debating that the entire day since that happened. I just ignored it. Should I just ignore, if a woman says, are you ready to be nice, implying that you're not being a respectful gentleman, should you call her on or just ignore it? Thanks for all your help. Love you, dude. Bye.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for the question. First of all, you absolutely positively did the right thing when you completely ignored her. What this woman tried to do was she tried to bleep test you. She tried to poop test you. You were clearly you were acting in such a way that told her in no uncertain terms that you didn't care what she thought, right? You clearly showed her a devil-may-care attitude, which is something that women are very attracted to. But a lot of guys these days really kind of attempt to fake this behavior. They read on some PUA blog, or they looked at, pickup artist video, and they read or they saw that women admire and are turned on by men who display the kind of attitude that tells everyone around him that he is his own man. So what a lot of guys do is they fake this behavior. Well, the woman that you are with, Ryan, obviously has seen this act before, right? Like, she was turned on by you, but she was hesitant. And the reason she was hesitant is because she wasn't exactly sure if this is who you really are. And in order to figure out if you're putting on an act or being genuine, acting genuinely, or acting genuinely selfish, rather, she decided to bite the gold, if you will, to make sure that you were indeed the genuine article. In other words, she poop tested you when she asked you, are you ready to be nice? Now, the good news is that you passed the poop test with flying colors. You simply ignored her and went about your business. And this is sort of a game tip for you guys out there. If a woman ever deploys a bleep test and you have no idea how to respond to it, it kind of throws you off, the best thing to do is just ignore it. And that's exactly what Ryan just did. Now, I don't know what happened afterwards, Ryan, because you didn't mention it in your voicemail. So I would be interested to get an update from you. Now, the answer to your second question, should I call her out on her BS? The answer is both yes and no. And it really depends upon how you address it. Let me explain what I mean here. The correct way to call a woman out on her BS in this particular situation is something like, I'm sorry, you thought I was a nice guy? Or you could say something like, sure, when you're ready to act like a grown-up. Now, there are many, many more ways to call a woman out on her BS just like this. But with these two examples that I just gave you, you're letting her know that, number one, you are not a nice guy without actually having to say it. You don't want to say, well, I'm not a nice guy. No. You show her this by not having to say it. That has far more impact. Number two, you're telling her that she's acting like a child. And no woman wants to be accused, either directly or indirectly, of acting like a child. So those two examples that I just gave you, those are just a couple of many, many different ways you can indirectly call a woman out on her BS. Now, on the other side of the equation, the incorrect way to call a woman out on her BS is exactly what you were thinking about doing after the fact. You were second-guessing yourself, thinking that you should have told her exactly why being a nice guy is a turn off to women. And one thing that I have learned firsthand, Ryan, and you'll probably have to learn this many, many times. It took me a while to figure this out, is that explaining a woman's true nature to her always results in her denying everything. What are you talking about? I love nice guys. Nice guys are the world's... I would marry a nice guy. Or she'll say something like, are you serious? I hate assholes. Assholes are the scourge of the earth. I want nothing to do with them. Or, you're out of your mind. There's absolutely no way I would ever get back with a guy who cheated on me. How could you say that? Trying to explain to a woman that the reason she likes assholes because it's the only form of masculinity she's really ever been exposed to, it's always a bad idea, right? Telling a woman that the reason why she would take back a cheating boyfriend because she knows that he can replace her and why she's attracted to that, that's only going to end up in an argument. She's never going to admit that. One of the fundamental differences, Ryan, between men and women is that we as men, we freely admit what our true nature is, right? When girls say, you're just shallow, you only go for girls who are young and hot, we respond with, yeah, nailed it. We as men, we have no qualms with admitting what we want and what we need in a woman. Now, women, on the other hand, they can never, ever admit what they want and need in a man. They can never, ever admit what her real turn-ons are and what her turn-offs are and what it really takes to keep her around. And the reason for that is because these fundamental truths are unflattering to women. Okay, girls don't want to admit that they respect men, or they respect men who cheat a lot more than men who do not cheat, right? Like, they would never admit out loud that they are turned on by men who are selfish, okay, and turned off by men who are overly generous. Women cannot bring themselves to admit that they would rather share a man with options than have a man without options all to herself. In a woman's mind, these immutable truths, and this is what they are, these immutable truths, they're embarrassing. So when a man says the world's biggest turnoff to a woman is a man who's too nice, she's not going to say, you know something, Ryan? I think you're right. That's totally a turnoff. No, she's going to vehemently disagree with you because in her mind, acknowledging what you just said as truth also means admitting that she likes men who treat her like garbage. And because women know that women who allow men to treat them like garbage have low self-esteem and make bad decisions. Because they know this, they will fight you tooth and nail to maintain the illusion that she wants nothing to do with bad boys or players. Women don't want men to tell them how the sausage is made. They just want the sausage. They don't care how a man gets rich. They simply care that he's rich. They don't care how the hot guy got the six-pack abs. They care that he has those six-pack abs. Women want men who understand how to handle them. They do not want men to explain how they know how to handle them. That is telling her how the sausage is made. And like I said before, women just want the sausage. Pun definitely intended. And when you ignored her, you gave her the sausage without the explanation, which was 248% the right thing to do. Thanks for the call, Ryan, and definitely give me an update on that situation. Let me know what happened after you ignored that poop test. Okay, let's go to Brittany in Nebraska, who has a question about music that pedestalizes women. Let's take a listen.
Hi, this is Brittany from Nebraska. Love your content. I was just calling. I was listening to the radio and, a cheesy song came on, and I was just wondering, why do women like these songs where men are, all about, basically putting women up on pedestals and they're the greatest thing in the world, but in reality, we don't want that in real life. So I just don't understand why we like these songs. I mean, I see myself fall into this trap where I like this song, but in my own reality, that's not who I'm with, who I'm married to.
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting that these songs are so successful, and yet in reality, it's not what we want in our relationship. So I just kind of wanted to hear your point of view on that and see what you have to say. Thanks, Donovan. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Brittany. And you ask a very good question. Why do women love listening to songs that pedestalize them when they don't want this in real life? Well, the answer is simple. The artists who sing these songs are super high value, okay? They're recording artists. And being a recording artist comes with money, comes with fame, comes with status, comes with women. All of these things are attractive to women. Recording artists, professional athletes, actors, celebrities, and so forth, they get a lot more leeway when it comes to supplicating behavior simply because of who they are. They have celebrity, they have clout, they have wealth, all the rest of that. So when Tim McGraw romantically sings "She's My Kind of Rain," women swoon because it's Tim frickin' McGraw who's singing the song. But if Tim Smith, the average Tim Smith, sings that same song, it doesn't have the same impact because he's not Tim McGraw. Another reason, Brittany, these songs are so successful is actually the same reason why women love romantic comedies. And that reason is that it sells a fantasy. And advertisers know that women respond much better when presented with a fantasy than they do when they're presented with reality. Telling women and showing them what they need to hear and what they need to see, that's not profitable. okay? But telling and showing them what they want to hear, that is extremely profitable. Fantasies play on a woman's emotions. And when a woman's emotions are engaged, she falls in love with whatever product gives her that emotional rush. You said it yourself, Brittany, that even though you understand that this is not what you want in a relationship, that you sometimes still get sucked into the songs. And this is exactly the intent, okay? The intent of movies, music, television is to play on the emotions of women so as to bypass your logic and sell you something that isn't real. But the problem that most women face with this stuff is that they internalize this material so often that they actually believe that the fantasy is reality. They actually believe that there is a John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale serendipity movie that's going to happen in their lives at some point. They buy into that fantasy and they foolishly think it's a reality. But then when Tim Smith romantically serenades her with "She's My Kind of Rain," she can't figure out why it doesn't give her the same tingles as it did when Tim McGraw sang it. And most women are so emotionally and ego invested in this fantasy that even after seeing the truth again and again and again, they still foolishly believe that they're gonna bump into a 6'4", square-jawed, tan-skinned, blonde-haired, blue-eyed underwear model with movie star looks who loves children and puppies at the grocery store, fall in love, go through some crazy hijinks, make up, and live happily ever after. So the main reason that these songs are so successful is because women simply cannot let go of the fantasy. At least you, Brittany, are self-aware enough to understand that even though you find yourself drawn into these songs, you understand and realize that it's not a reality and that it's not what you want. Thanks for the call, Brittany. If you have a question that you would like me to answer on Ask Donovan, call 702-919-7197. Thanks for watching.